From ancient tombs to haunted houses, here are 7 stories of objects that are cursed. Number 7. The Ghost Train of New York. While riding the subway in New York City, you might be sharing a car with more than just fellow commuters. Legend has it that one particular train car is haunted by the ghost of a young girl who died after falling onto the tracks at the station. The spooky sightings were first reported in 2009 and have continued on and off since then. Witnesses say they've seen a little girl in Victorian nightgown wandering through the cars or sitting alone and crying. Some have even heard her ghost screaming for help. Though some people attribute these sightings to a lack of sleep or too much caffeine, others believe there may be something more sinister going on. The most recent sighting of the little girl was in 2018, when a woman got on the train at the 14th Street station and saw the apparition sitting across from her. She said she could feel the little girl's sadness and despair. When the train arrived at the next station, the woman told the New York Post that she turned around and the seat was empty. Although many believe the story to be a hoax, others insist it's true, and warn that if you ride the train, you may see the ghost for yourself. So next time you take the subway, make sure to keep an eye out for a little girl wearing a nightgown. Number 6. The Crying Woman. For centuries, people have reported seeing the ghost of a crying woman in the halls of the 2nd floor of the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. They say her spirit walks back and forth between 2 doors, pausing only to sob uncontrollably for a few moments before continuing her journey. According to legend, the crying woman is the ghost of a former employee who died tragically in the building. One day in 1941, a woman named Helen Viola left her post as a guard to go to lunch. When she returned, she found that her colleague had passed away at his desk. Helen immediately tried to raise the alarm, but no one could hear her. She ran through the hall shouting for help, but no one came. Eventually, Helen collapsed from exhaustion, and her body was discovered near her friends, both having passed away from a heart attack. Now, it's said that Helen's ghost can often be seen roaming the halls of the museum, forever searching for someone to hear her cries. Visitors have reported feeling an overwhelming sense of sadness and despair while standing in the 2nd floor halls, which some believe may be caused by Helen's restless spirit. Number 5. The Die Bandolier. The Die Bandolier is a curious artifact that has a very interesting history. It's an 18th century ammunition belt with a strange twist. You see, instead of holding bullets, each cartridge is filled with a small piece of paper containing a message from someone who has lost their life. People travel from all over the world to visit Dighton Hall, where it's rumored the bandolier was created by a heartbroken soldier named John Dye during the American Revolutionary War. The legend goes that John made the bandolier to hold the souls of his fallen comrades. Each time he fired his musket, he would pull a message from the cartridges and read it aloud. As the war raged on and more soldiers died, John became increasingly distraught. Eventually, he was driven insane and took his own life in 1778. Since then, visitors to Dayton have reported hearing strange noises and feeling cold spots throughout the house, which some believe may be caused by John and his fallen comrades. The Die Bandolier is now housed at the Peabody Essex Museum in Salem, Massachusetts, and visitors are welcome to view it for themselves. But many choose not to, as they fear angering the restless spirits trapped within its cartridges. Number 4. The Curse of the Hope Diamond. The Hope Diamond is a famous blue diamond that is currently on display at the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C. But this sparkling gem has a dark history that many believe is cursed. The diamond was originally mined in India in the 1600s, but its current owner, Evelyn Walsh McLean, was not the first to own it. In fact, the diamond has been passed around from person to person for centuries, and each owner has met with misfortune. Some say the curse began in 1810 when a French banker named Jacques Necker sold the diamond to Simon Montefiore. Soon after, Necker's son committed suicide, and his daughter died of a drug overdose. Montefiore, who had purchased the diamond with money stolen from his employer, was eventually caught and imprisoned, and the diamond was lost for many years until it was rediscovered in 1911. It was purchased by Lord Francis Hope, who lent it to the Tower of London as part of the Crown Jewels collection. But tragedy struck again when Hope's wife died shortly after the move. Since then, the diamond has changed hands several times, and each new owner has faced misfortune, including Evelyn Walsh McLean, who was once robbed while wearing the diamond. While some believe the curse to be nothing more than a superstition, others are less skeptical. After all, how many coincidences can there be? Number 3, the Haunted Dollhouse of Fort Mifflin. The Haunted Dollhouse of Fort Mifflin is a local legend in Philadelphia. The story goes that in 1976, a group of teenagers broke into the historic Fort Mifflin and attempted to steal a dollhouse from the site. But they soon discovered that the dollhouse was possessed by the ghost of a young girl named Eliza Davis. As they attempted to carry the dollhouse away, it levitated above the ground and refused to move. Eventually, the teens fled in terror, leaving the dollhouse behind. From that day forward, anyone who has attempted to remove the dollhouse from the fort has experienced strange and terrifying events. These include moving objects, shaking beds, and even interacting with people. Some believe that Eliza is protecting her home from intruders and will not allow it to be taken away. Others believe she simply wants to be left alone. Either way, the Haunted Dollhouse of Fort Mifflin remains at the fort to this day, and visitors are welcome to come and see it for themselves. Number 2, the Ghost Ship. The Mary Celeste was a merchant ship that was discovered abandoned at sea in 1872. The ship had sailed from New York to Genoa, Italy, but had become stranded off the coast of Portugal due to a storm. When the captain and crew were found, it was discovered that they had mysteriously disappeared. There was no sign of a struggle, and all of their belongings were still on board. This led to speculation that the crew had been abducted by pirates, or that they had been victims of a bizarre crime. Some even believed that the ship was cursed. After the Mary Celeste returned to New York, it was put up for auction. But potential buyers were scared off by the ship's eerie history, and it was eventually sold for scrap. Since then, the ship's curse has only grown. Anyone who has come into contact with the Mary Celeste has suffered terrible misfortune. For example, the ship's captain, Benjamin Briggs, was never seen again after the ship was abandoned. His wife and daughter also died under mysterious circumstances. And the ship's first mate, Edward Head, died in a car accident shortly after returning to the United States. To this day, the Mary Celeste remains one of the most mysterious ships ever discovered, and many believe her curse continues to haunt those who knew her. Number 1. The Ghost Train of New Zealand. The Ghost Train of New Zealand is a local legend that dates back to the 1920s. The story goes that a train carrying gold was traveling through the remote wilderness of New Zealand when it suddenly derailed. The train's engine and several cars plunged into a deep ravine, killing everyone on board. From that day forward, people have reported seeing the ghost train traveling along the same tracks. Some say the train can be heard whistling through the valleys, or its headlights can be seen shining through the darkness. Others claim to have actually seen the train carrying its cargo of gold and the souls of its passengers. While there is no evidence that the train actually exists, there are plenty of stories from people who believe they have seen it for themselves. In fact, some say the train is still carrying gold to this day, and that if you find it, you'll become rich beyond your wildest dreams. Of course, others warn that doing so will only bring bad luck and death. The legend of the Ghost Train of New Zealand has captured the imaginations of many and continues to be popular in books, movies, and TV shows. Whether or not the train actually exists doesn't matter because the legend lives on. Well, there you have it. 7 stories of objects that are cursed. Which one did you think was the scariest? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.